Hey, I'm Will, and I love Star Trek.
I'm Caleb, and I love Fallout.
And we're watching Star Trek chronologically so that this guy over here can love Star Trek just like me.
Yeah, maybe.
So let's get into the review, dudes.
Risk. Risk is our business.
Out there. That'll work.
What happened?
Starfleet was founded to seek out new life. Well, there it sits.
Rock and roll! 6.
We're not afraid of diversity. We don't persecute it, we embrace it.
At least I won't die alone.
Join our Federation of Planets. And reach for the stars.
Those were the days.
Program complete. Enter when ready.
Great, welcome back to another Retrek review where we talk about Star Trek weekly. And this week, we're talking about a season 3 episode, specifically the Enterprise incident. It originally aired September 27th, 1968. It was written by DC Fontana, that's a name we've heard before, and directed by John Meredith Lucas. The synopsis for the Enterprise incident is: acting apparently restless and irrational, Captain Kirk inexplicably orders the Enterprise into Romulan space, where the ship is quickly captured by the enemy and Kirk held captive aboard their flagship. So, before we carry on, we're going to go over to Caleb and ask what his take of the episode was.
I did actually like this episode.
You're good.
It took me a bit to get into it, honestly.
Sure.
It's one of those things that like Star Trek does where it's like I kind of miss in like TV shows
Mhm.
where like the whole thing happens and you have no idea like what's going on or
Oh,
like
yeah,
when it's supposed to be or
right.
what their mission is or anything. So it is kind of jarring when like the episode starts and Kirk is just like yelling at everybody and being
Yeah,
like irrational. And even like Bones is like, well, I don't know, something's wrong with the captain, but whatever. And then he's like, all right, take us into Romulan space, please. And I'm like, why are we doing this? And it's kind of like I don't know where it's going, but by the middle of the episode, you're like, okay, you're kind of fully on board. So like that to me was it kind of was jarring. I would say it was
oh,
jarring a
sure.
little bit.
Yeah,
But I did like the whole you know, Spock being James Bond and them having to like infiltrate
yeah,
this ship for Starfleet. It was a cool premise.
yeah.
Um yeah, so I enjoyed it. I mean, there's
Nice.
obviously a few things about it that you're like, well, I don't that doesn't make sense,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was a thing where I obviously knew the larger premise of what was going to happen in the episode. And so I was thinking as we're using our new format of like taking notes and really kind of like,
Hmm.
using concise thinking, I was like, I wonder if half of his notes in the beginning until the reveal are just going to be like, why is Kirk like this? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, why is he?
Yeah,
And then you get
yeah,
like to the
yeah,
third
basically.
commercial and be like, oh, I see. It was all a joke
Yeah.
or a
Yeah,
ploy, I should say.
a lot of my notes at the beginning were like, yeah, what's going on with Kirk? And then it was like, why is Spock betraying Kirk? What
Yeah,
is going on? So on the
yeah.
bottom of our notes, you gave a rating system.
I did. I put that on there. Yeah.
So instinctually last night I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Ooh,
So yeah,
guess what I put?
5,
You're close. I put 7 out of 10.
7. Ooh. Well, you're one off
Yeah,
because it's actually a 6.
yeah, it is actually 6. I almost put 6. The only reason I put it up a little bit higher is because for it being season 3, it kind of actually was a decent episode.
It doesn't get any better.
Yeah. The interesting thing is, I put a poll out on the channel yesterday, and
Yeah.
3 out of 4 people said they actually like season 3 of Star
Oh, cool.
Trek. So
Good.
yeah, so I hope the episodes we choose and we to discuss like they enjoy. Um, we're not doing like a ton of them, but we are doing quite a handful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I I like the production value of
Mm.
season 3 so far. Like this episode specifically. You know what's funny is like even Scotty looks different because of
Yeah,
like how
everybody
they
likes.
film.
Yeah,
His hair is different, and it's
his
like
hair.
I I,
Yeah,
I don't know. It has a different feel, like already.
yeah,
I would say. And Kirk's green tunic is gone, which kind of bums me
gone.
out. But
Yeah, yeah,
I look forward to going through season 3,
yeah.
seeing how I feel about it.
Absolutely,
And at
absolutely.
some point, I am gonna go back and watch like all of the episodes that we did not watch on the podcast,
Oh boy. Okay.
just to get a
Yes.
good basis, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the reality is there's episodes I didn't show you that are totally fine.
Yeah,
They just didn't like continue a running thing that you've already been like like paint like invested in between Enterprise
yeah,
and Strange New Worlds. So
yeah. No, I know, I totally get what we've been doing. I just know,
yeah,
like at some point for me, like I want to watch all
yeah.
of it.
So this is our subscriber shout out area, and our 2 latest subscribers are the Keen Tribe and David Nas.
Cool.
So we appreciate your subscriptions. And we didn't get a Captain Alimar comment on anything from our
Hmm.
last 2 podcast releases. But on our What Does Caleb Think season 2 kind of wrap up video, we got a comment from our friend on YouTube from my office, and it
Oh,
says, interested in seeing how the new format works out. My favorite moment from season 2 of TOS was this podcast. Mirror,
wow.
mirror. Yeah, mirror, mirror, and the trouble with tribbles is are definitely classics, he says. So
Yeah. Although he didn't want to, interesting, he didn't want a Terran Prime sticker that I made, but that's right.
interesting.
Interesting. Not that good then, I guess, apparently. You know, I grew this goatee specifically for
Yeah,
Mirror Mirror. So
that's right.
yeah, I don't mess around with the retrack review, buddy.
All right, let's get into the review. Before the intro, I had we kind of touched on it a little bit. I had Kirk's sideburns.
Oh yeah.
Now they're like, a little longer, a little more
They're,
pointier, getting
they're
closer to
pretty
the 70s. So
yeah. Hippie.
yeah.
I think that's what made his ears look so bad later on, but
Probably. And I really like seeing in that one shot when they show the Enterprise and then the 2 other ships and then also the Romulan ship. I really liked seeing
oh yeah.
multiple ships like again.
Well, that's the whole episode. I was like, oh, I like this part of the Romulan ship, and then I was like, well, actually, it's actually a Klingon ship because I
Yeah,
keep forgetting that they're on like a Klingon bird of prey. So
yeah,
even like, so it's funny. I made those sonic disruptors a couple
yeah.
weeks back, and we were talking about
Mhm.
like they originated from like the Klingon blaster or phaser or whatever,
Yeah,
and like now in this episode they have those, and you can tell they're like the same. They're like the same body of the gun,
yeah,
just like a couple things on top.
Yeah, I think like the top part has like little prongs.
Yeah, the emitter part is
The
definitely different. It's
emitter,
got
yeah,
like a
yeah,
little, but
yeah.
it's cool. It was cool seeing that. But like I kept, you know, even like later on for like cool ship stuff, I was like, I like this, but I was like, yeah, it's not. It's actually Klingon.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting they're on a Klingon ship.
We like Klingon things.
Yeah, apparently.
The other thing was the new intro. Now we got blue font. We got blue.
Yeah,
Yeah. So pretty much practically
classic.
the same intro. It's just blue instead of yellow now.
That's funny. Yeah, I know. It's one of those like blink and you miss it.
So is there anything before the intro for you?
No, I just like you said, I didn't understand what was going on with Kirk. So I kind of assumed that there was like something bad going on with like where they were in space.
Gotcha.
Space madness. Uh, I like that Chekhov and Sulu. I like that they were seemed like the full bridge crew was there in the beginning of the episode, which
Yeah,
is cool.
yeah. Like other than McCoy doing the voiceover, like everybody was on the bridge.
Yeah. I liked McCoy doing the voiceover too, actually. That was that.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I like seeing everybody kind of at their stations. And I do genuinely like when Kirk yells at people. It is pretty funny. Because is it Sulu that hands him the clipboard and he's like, I can read. I don't
I
need
think
this.
I think so, yeah.
And then even Spock, he's like, I need a report. And he's like, oh, I just gave you a report. He's like, I need a current report. Not that old report, new report, Spock.
Yeah.
I genuinely enjoy that. Enjoy
Yeah.
that. You know?
Yeah, because he's usually pretty smooth. He's not as
Yeah.
like angry and
Mhm.
demeaning, right? Yeah.
Shatner's acting in this episode was like, top
Top
notch.
Shatner. Yeah.
Uh, I gotta kill you.
Yeah.
I gotta kill you.
Yeah, we get it. That's what I have there at the bottom. So when we
Mm-hmm.
come back from the intro before the first commercial break, it's way at the bottom because that was like the scene closer. But I had they mentioned it took the message would take 3 weeks to get to Starfleet,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah, Adrian would
man,
love that.
man, that's funny because I was like, you guys are in the RPG, you guys are even farther, and I'm only doing 24 hours. And I was like,
Yeah,
well,
right.
guess I should
Mm.
really make it more like 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, you should bump that up. Everybody would love it.
They really would.
You'd get no kickback at all from that.
Not at all.
That was a really funny like line where Kirk's like, just so you know, Starfleet has already been informed. And they're like, yeah, they're not gonna it's gonna take them 3 weeks to
Yeah,
receive the message and then like another 3 weeks to get here. So like we can just like blow your ship up now. Not like we're not really too worried about it.
I figured I did, and I figure you did. I like those cool ship schematics on the screen.
I did like those, yeah. You know where my brain went. I was like, that would look cool. Like in
Yeah,
the basement.
it would. It is funny to think that they're literally just like slats with lights behind them, basically.
Yeah, there's nothing to them.
Yeah.
They're just stationary.
Right.
Nowadays, all that stuff is just green screened.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. Or just programmed into a computer and they just show it on a monitor.
Yeah, yeah, they just make a file.
Right. The interesting thing is I thought that the episode Balance of Terror showed that the Romulans had cloaking devices. So when they were like in that scene in the beginning part with the table and the monitor, they're talking about like, oh, I think Romulans have cloaking devices. I was like, didn't they show that already?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, they did.
Right.
Yeah, they did. Do you see it, Enterprise?
Yeah.
Do you
Right.
see it?
Exactly. Right. I mean, that's the whole point of that.
Like, no, we don't see. Oh, there. Oh, it's gone. Gone again. How are they doing it? How?
So it's like either we're
Yeah.
led to believe that they just have no understanding of how the Romulans are doing such a thing, at that time,
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
I don't know.
And now they're totally on board. And they're
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, we know about it. Like we could definitely take that, whatever that equipment is, and just plug it right into the
yeah,
engine, and it'll be fine.
it'll
It'll
be fine.
totally work.
Yeah, and you think about it because Archer sees it disappear and come back in that minefield episode, right? He sees the
Yeah.
ship come and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I don't know.
they've known about it. It's interesting. It's interesting.
I wrote, it doesn't seem like the Romulans would care about the lives of their officers, so the exchange is pointless.
I know. That's what I thought too.
It's
Yeah,
like
that's what I was like, who cares? Like, we're gonna give you these two
rando.
guys,
Yeah,
they don't I don't know. They don't have any families or anything, so they'll be safe.
yeah, right.
Okay. And then not only that, but then even like later on too, when Kirk beams back aboard,
Mhm.
he's like, well, we better hope that Spock can, make it back. It's like, don't they have like the codes and everything? Couldn't they just beam aboard?
Impossible.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That's what I thought. I just,
Yeah. And then soon after the exchange, hey, I wrote, why was Scotty not concerned about the Romulan officers drawing weapons?
Yeah, immediately. You
They
just
were
look
like,
at him.
haha, and he was just like, whatever.
I know. The next time you see Scotty, he's like in the chair, in the captain chair. And then even after that, and then he's like, when things start to go sideways on the other ship, he's like, all right, put those guys in the brig. Like,
Yeah.
why were they not already in the brig? Like, why are they just freely
walking
walking
around.
aboard the
Yeah, they're
ship?
just hanging out.
Yeah, they're fine. I'd be suspicious if they didn't pull weapons.
You're right. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So I know that she's like a little too older now. So if you could think of a
Yeah.
better one, let me know. But there was a point when I was watching the female Romulan commander, and I
Mm-hmm.
thought, if this was the Chris Pine Star Trek movie, could Helen Mirren play the Romulan commander?
Mm.
I mean, she's a fine actress and she would do the part fine even in her current age. But I think just for like romantic reasons against like Zachary Quinto, I feel like she'd have to be a little closer to his age, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah.
She just kind of gave me those kind of vibes, like very
Mm.
refined and dignified, but kind of like saucy, because that's kind of how Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It just popped into my head. The scene where soon after the commander learns of Spock's unspoken truth, it
Mm-hmm.
cuts to Kirk a couple times and he makes one of these really funny faces when he kind of like learns that Spock is like betraying him.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like when they kick back to him, really made me laugh.
I did notice that. I thought that was really funny. I thought that whole exchange
Yeah.
where they were in there and he's like, I already told you the truth.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, interesting. Well, I'll ask Spock. And Spock's like, it's not against Vulcan code. I'm not lying if I just refuse to not tell you the truth. It's not a lie.
Right.
And you're like, all right. And then he like walks over and he's like, yeah, Kirk just flew us in. I don't even know what he's doing. he's, he's trying to, he's crazy. Like, I'll kill you, Spock. I'll freaking kill you. It's like, wow, what is going on?
I literally wrote down, you filthy liar, and I'll kill you.
The reveal was funny to me when they were like, so the commander wants to speak to you. And they're like, oh, okay, excellent. And like they go in the room and the chair spins around and like, oh, it's a woman. Oh my God.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Which one is going to seduce her? And you think it's going to be Kirk, but not this
Nope.
time.
Not this time. It was interesting, right? Because you could have easily had Kirk
Yeah.
and her being all sexy with each other and then had Spock being like a fake Romulan on the ship.
Well, it makes too much sense.
Yeah. Break away from the traditions in season 3.
Yeah. Woo. No shirt ripping, no girl kissing, nothing.
Nothing.
Lame.
Nope. Just Vulcan hand rubbing.
Oh, don't
So
don't
we
remind me.
so we come back from that commercial and we see Chapel is back.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like that.
Has she always worn the Delta like on the
Yeah,
like collar? Yeah. I guess
yeah,
I've never noticed it.
yeah. And then I wrote, Scotty is awesome as acting captain.
Yeah, I really like him.
Like sitting there in the chair and yeah,
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of Pike, the way his hair was like all swooshed
yeah,
over him.
yeah, he did.
I'll blow it up. I'll blow it straight to Kingdom Come. I'm not even worried about it.
Spock made a comment that there were no Vulcan captains, or at least it was extremely rare to have a Vulcan captain
In Starfleet.
in Starfleet. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't honestly don't know how I feel about it. Because it's like obviously this is the first thing, and who cares in a way, but it's also like
Yeah.
surprising that, they're I think like 200 years after first contact at this point, and there's
Yeah.
like it's extremely rare to have a Vulcan captain. And it's like, is that a Vulcan decision or is that a Starfleet decision?
The way I lean on that is that I think it's a Vulcan decision.
Yeah, it's kind of how I felt too.
I think Vulcans have no interest in being captains of Starfleet ships. They're not really interested in like exploration at all. So why would they want to captain a ship of
True.
exploration, you know?
True.
So that's how I feel about it. And I think that was just something that Spock was using to be like, yeah, it is a little you know, like they mistreat us a
Yeah.
little bit. But like, he doesn't care.
You don't care. No. The two other things I had was why would McCoy think Uhura would pass along such information to him if it wasn't Kirk or Spock who was injured? He was like, I don't make house calls. And it's like, who do you think she's calling about? Like, she's not calling about any Romulan person.
No, no. Yeah, like, hey, there's been an accident on the Romulan ship. And he's like, well, I don't care about that. It's like, well, it's probably it's probably the two, you know, it's probably your captain and first officer that went over there.
Right. Oh.
Oh, I'll get my bag.
Right.
I know that is a weird, it's a weird.
Yeah.
It's just to show that he doesn't know the plan, right? I guess.
Right. I know that's what yeah, exactly.
But it's just funny.
I mean, they also, to me, they could have just played it to the thing where he really thinks Kirk is hurt. Like, he's like, oh man, like he freaks out in a way,
Mhm.
rather than have him be like dismissive. It's like you could play it the other way and still have it make sense.
Well, the weird thing is that he says, "Oh, I didn't know about the plan until I beamed aboard."
Yeah.
And it's like, how did you learn about the plan when you beamed aboard? Is he talking about when he beamed back aboard the Enterprise with Kirk,
I
or is
think
he talking?
I think he meant when he beamed aboard the Romulan ship and got into that room, Kirk was pretending to be like insane and like filled him in.
Yeah, there's a lot of like small things too, because it's like, you know, I'm sure the Romulan ship has like security cameras and recording. So Kirk's acting insane. Then like the Dr. McCoy walks in, he's like, "Hey, so this is the plan. We're doing this." And then,
That's literally what I
oh,
have when we
I'm
come back.
crazy. Oh, I'm going crazy.
Yeah, that's literally what I have in my notes in the next part.
Yeah.
So before closing out this part, the last thing I wrote was Vulcan death grip question mark.
Love it. I love the death grip. I just reacted. I didn't even think.
Yeah. There's always a name for it, like you said, right? There's always a name for it.
I thought he was doing a quick like mind meld
Oh yeah.
to show him like, hey, look, I'm not, because at this point I still thought Kirk was crazy. I thought he had
Got it.
space sickness or something. So I thought Spock was being like, hey, look, I'm like doing this to get you like off the ship. I'm trying to like, you know, sweet talk this girl.
Right.
But no.
No.
It was to like pinch just ever so slightly pinch a main nerve that made him sleep without a pulse for 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah,
And then the Romulan captain's like, "Yep, Vulcan death grip. Know it well.
got
Know
it.
it well."
Yeah. So before we go into the next commercial break, go down to the comment section and write Vulcan Death Grip. Write it down in the section below. We want to see it. We love it. We want to hear more about it.
I'm
So
sad to
before
see that it's fake because I wanted to add it to my doctor house.
I mean, he called it the Vulcan Death Grip, so there might be something true to it, right?
Maybe
He can't lie, right? So it makes it seem like the Vulcan Death Grip has to be real in some
is a thing. It's just not what he did. Yeah.
right. Maybe that's what he does is if he squeezes like all around your face, like that's the
Oh,
thing, right? Yeah, that might kill you. That might kill you.
whatever it is, Andrew was pretty close to it a couple weeks ago.
He certainly was.
Double crunch. Double crunch. God,
He crumpled. He came around that corner and crumpled it like the computer screen. The guys.
man. Yeah, he sure did.
So we come back from a commercial, our third commercial break, or maybe our second commercial break, and he says, you see this shot of him laying there and his eyes open, and then they do a weird, like,
That was
reversing
weird.
of his
It
eyes.
was weird.
That's
Instead of
strange.
just having him like open his eyes and then close his eyes like a human being would. That was a weird choice. Yeah, that
What
was
if
a
we
weird choice.
reverse the footage and make him close his eyes that way? It's almost like they didn't get the footage of Shatner closing his eyes, and we're like, "Well, we need to do that." And they were like, "Well, just play the tape back."
Yeah. Yeah, and Nurse Chapel's immediate response is to scream, which
Oh
is
yeah,
classic 60s woman. It's great.
yeah. She's losing her mind. So, to your point, you were just talking about it. I wrote, "How unlikely is it that the Romulans don't bug their rooms?"
Yeah,
In
exactly.
connection with Kirk telling McCoy in that room like what was going on.
It wouldn't even be like bugging a room. It's a brig. You should have
True.
naturally should have security footage and mics in there
Yeah,
because it's a prison cell. That's
true. Also, the other thing that
yeah.
I thought was kind of funny was that the Vulcan nerve pinch can apparently fool scanners. Like I
Yeah,
didn't
right.
realize when you give it to when it's applied, like their bodies go to like near death. Because you
Everything
got to
just
think
shuts
about it. He
down.
was like, "Oh, well, we did it," and then they almost did an autopsy on you. They say he says, and it's like that seemed like a stretch.
Yeah, why would they do an odd
Because they thought he was dead, but
she
yeah,
she watched she she watched him do the death grip on him. I'm
yeah,
like, well, we need to do an autopsy, see how this guy died. Like, no, I saw how he died.
he's
I
dead.
saw how he died. Yeah, he's dead. It's like, well, all his organs seem to be fine. It's like, yeah, that's because his head was crushed.
Oh,
Oh, well, he should have been wearing one of these.
yeah,
One of these gold banana helmets.
yeah. Because we know
Why?
all about the Vulcan death grip.
What do you think these bad boys are for? Style? No.
So you filthy Vulcan. Well, we got a nice smolder for the camera as Kirk when he was the
Yeah.
Romulan. It was like, hello. Yeah.
Oh boy.
I enjoyed that.
Is that what he calls Scotty down?
Yeah, it's like,
I can't leave the bridge at a time like this.
yeah.
What could be so important? And he comes down and it's like he's like talking his line like
Yeah.
as he's walking in. It's like, oh, this is weird. First of all, you're alive, followed
Yeah.
by you're a Romulan? Like, what?
Yeah.
I feel like we were not briefed on this mission
Yeah.
at all.
At all. Yeah. So I had why would the Romulan commander think Vulcan food made by Romulans would be an enticement for Spock? He was like,
I don't.
"Oh, well, this food is very palatable and much better than the Enterprise."
Mhm.
She was like, "Excellent, excellent, it's working, it's working."
Drink this blue juice. It's a
Yeah,
very
blue
delicious
juice.
blue juice.
I don't think you know about it really, but I think that blue juice was Romulan ale.
Cool.
And Romulan ale is like a big thing in Star Trek. It's like a very big thing in Star Trek.
That's cool. Well, doesn't oh no, that was green.
Well,
Uh,
the Andorians pour
well,
like a blue drink out too. So yeah,
I think we've seen Romulan ale before, like,
I'm sure.
but no, I was thinking about McCoy's booze that
Oh
he makes. Wasn't
yeah,
that
yeah,
green? It was green. Yeah.
yeah. I think it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I liked in this scene specifically, I'm a prop guy. I'm staring at all this stuff. Like I
Oh
like
yeah.
the cylinder
Oh
glass
yeah,
for the blue thing.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love how she's like watching him and he's like, mm. He's like fairly.
Barely has any of it.
It's
Yeah.
probably like, it's probably like antifreeze, like on the show, and it's like delicious. And then she pours the orange juice
Yeah.
and it's in that like square
Yes.
rectangle thing. It's like, no, that's cool, but that is like so impractical to drink out of.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
cool. I like that stuff.
It was cool. I like the bulkhead line, right? He's like, well, Spock didn't give you the coordinates, and he's there. He's like, it's okay,
Oh yeah,
just beam me over. And he's like, yeah, but you don't know where you're gonna go. And he's like, it's fine, Scotty, just don't beam me into a bulkhead.
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, into the engine room. It's like,
I just escaped
yeah,
the enemy ship, and I'm just looking for Commander Tal. Oh, he's over here. Great. He's like, well, I'll let him know how alert you were. Great job. See you later, buddy.
yeah, you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're relieved of duty.
You are relieved.
Don't you see this blue sash? I'm very important.
I am a
Very
centurion. Yeah, yeah. How about that
Yeah.
soldier outfit that for Romulan women? That's a pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got to wear a barely covering mini skirt. Like that makes
So funny because the last episode we did
yeah.
was the one that you were talking about, the lady that
Oh,
secretary lady.
yeah, Roberta
She
Lincoln.
hates Star Trek. She won't even like talk about Star Trek because she was forced to wear like a super short skirt.
Yeah.
And I was like, wasn't really that short.
Right.
And now the next episode we're watching, like it's like now that
Right. That's
a short that's a short skirt.
Yeah.
Like wow,
Especially when she stands
Yeah.
up and tries to cover her butt and nothing happens. Like
No.
nothing happens.
No. Mm-mm. No.
Yeah. It was pretty bad. I was like,
Pretty
oh.
good.
She's like, well, let me put on something less revealing, basically.
Yeah. That
And I
was so
like,
stupid.
this is the reverse
He's
of what
like-
you're doing.
He's like, well, your name would be much more beautiful if you weren't dressed as a soldier. It's like, oh, let me slip into something more comfortable. And she comes out with like a full length dress, like full
Yeah.
dress.
Yeah.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. That whole interaction.
You really
Yeah.
liked that. Yeah.
It's real good. Really good.
Yeah.
I like it for the fact that Spock is basically James Bond,
Yeah.
But how stupid are they to use communicators aboard, right?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah. Like don't use like they had to have wall comms or their own things, right?
Well, they can track that stuff on board,
Right, right.
And how lucky is it that they pinpointed Spock's communicator and not Kirk's communicator?
Kirk's, yeah.
They're like, hey, so we got two pings for this communicator. One's in the commander's room, and one's in the main room where we keep like this
Yeah.
high tech stuff. Like, well, let's check on the commander first. I wonder what to do. That's weird. So weird. Isn't that weird?
He does do that kind of thing too. Made me laugh when he says, he's like, Commander, I have an alien signal, and he's like, are you sure about this? And he's like, yes, it's coming from wherever, he says, and he's just like, well, get right on it. Because when he first tells him, it made me think of you going, well, that's weird.
It's weird. I thought when Spock came out, he was gonna kind of like BS a little bit too, but he just kind of fully was like, here it is.
That's
There
what
you
I
go.
was gonna say. I really liked that Spock didn't really care and just showed his communicator.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't trying to. He was just like, no, here it is. I did it.
Well, so here's the thing. Shouldn't they have taken all that stuff away from him when they
Yes.
went on board? Yeah.
Yes. But because he was James Bond, he was so smooth.
It was in his butt.
Yeah. Didn't get that far.
So, but that's the thing. So I thought he was gonna kind of, be like, well, like, yeah, the ship tried to contact me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, I have my communicator. Nobody took anything from me. So I
Right.
still thought he was gonna kind of like play the role a little bit.
Right.
But he was like, yep, my goose is cooked. Here it is.
Because he doesn't lie.
I don't know. What are your execution protocols these days? Are we doing this? Or it's like,
Yeah. The other part I said, does it make sense that a cloaking device is practically light as a feather?
it does.
He's just like, all right, just gonna take this
No, okay, no.
machinery out of the. I was like, I don't know about that.
The machine, the cloaking device machine is made less goofy because of that whole interaction where Kirk beats up the guard at the front door and goes in. And he's
Yeah.
looking around. Now, if I was a cloaking device, where would I be? Where would I? And then the other guy's like, "Hey, freeze! I don't know who you are." And he's like, "Oh, somebody's here trying to take the cloaking device." And that guy's like, "But the cloaking device is right here." And Kirk's like, "Oh, very good, very good." Oh, you mean this giant ball with the big, huge spear in the middle of the room? Oh, wow! Ah, only a madman would put it there. What?
Oh yeah.
And then it's like that he finally like. It's such this like crazy high tech, like device. Who knows how it's installed or anything? Kirk just walked through and he's just like, yeah, that'll do. Scotty, beam me aboard.
Yeah. Oh god.
Oh, it was really funny. That was so.
I forgot that he did it, and I was like, this is like, oh, let me just like, oh, this is fine. Then he just puts it under his arm like a football, and I was like, don't stop, just stop. Stop. Yeah.
To the 20, to the 30. Yeah. Oh my God. I know that was so funny. I also enjoy how the Klingon ship is very much the Enterprise, just different wall ornaments and stuff. That scene too in the beginning where Spock is like walking down the hallway with the commander and he goes to like turn left down that corridor. Yeah. She's like, oh, no. No, that you can't go down there. But it's like he was turning left because it's so naturally like the same ship where he always turns left to go to the bridge.
Yeah.
But it's not the bridge now. It's the engine room.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was funny.
Oh, and I liked the closeout was I really liked Spock's cold line of saying he's the first officer of the Enterprise.
That was good. Mm-hmm. Who are you to think you could do this? Well, my name's Spock. Yeah, that was cold. He was cold as ice. That was a great plan, though. Grab the device, beam aboard, throw at this guy and be like, "Hey, like this brand new thing that you've never seen before, it needs to be installed now. It
Do
needs
it
to be up and running in the next 15 minutes."
And he's like, I don't know anything about this. They're like, make it work
Make it
now.
work. You don't understand. We're all gonna die.
Like, you should have filled
Oh.
me in.
Yeah, I could have at least like maybe theorized
Hey,
how the device would function and how what it would need to be. No, no, no. It'll be all right, Scotty.
Sure.
Just
Yeah, I do
just
it.
stick
Like,
it on top of the engine and put some Allen wrenches in it. It'll be fine.
I thought you were gonna say stick it on top of the engine and just use your Fisher Price toys. You'll get there. You'll get there.
Yeah. That's crazy.
All right. It's time for trivia.
Oh, not again. All right, now you're overacting.
So the writer DC Fontana's initial inspiration for the story and its title was the Pueblo incident, which involved the capture of an American patrol boat, the USS Pueblo, by North Korean forces during the Vietnam War. The incident
boy.
occurred on January 23rd, 1968, just 2 months before Fontana completed her first draft story outline. Fontana noted it was really based on the Pueblo incident in the sense that here's this ship caught spying, and they have to find a justification for being there. Kirk's sanity is put on the line in terms of why they're there. Then, of course, they have to get out safely, preferably with the information they came for. Now, that's not what happened with the Pueblo, but the Pueblo incident kicked off this line of thinking in my mind.
That's cool.
In her first script, that was dated June 7th, it is explicitly stated that the Romulans have an improved undetectable version of the cloaking device, which was a prismatic type of mechanism. It was stored in a laboratory waiting to be installed on the Romulan ship rather than an already operational mechanism.
Okay.
And also in the original, both Kirk and McCoy are disguised and steal the cloaking device. So here's the part that we were all laughing about. The first draft of the episode stressed the attraction between Spock and the Romulan commander based upon their common heritage. Originally, Spock was supposed to kiss the commander. The first draft script describes Spock as raining kisses on every inch of above shoulder. But both Nimoy, Leonard Nimoy, and Joanne Linville, who played the Romulan commander, agreed they needed something different from normal human love expressions and suggested the hand contact instead. Nimoy, in fact, wrote a long letter of complaint to Gene Roddenberry about the issue. In the book Star Trek Lives, Dorothy Fontana, who's the writer, tells how she attempted to warn Roddenberry about fan reactions if Spock were to behave out of character. She insisted that Nimoy was right, that the pair's interactions should suggest an alien sexuality, but not human passion. Even with Nimoy and Linville's restrained gestural contact, Fontana was flooded with letters from fans. Aware of the Pon farr and believing it meant Vulcans had sex only once in 7 years, which was Theodore Sturgeon's original idea, they complained that the scene was out of character. Years later, though, Fontana wrote sex scenes into the book Vulcan's Glory, establishing that the Pon farr is only a fertility cycle and that Vulcans can have sex anytime.
Yeah. I remember we talking about that before.
We did, yeah. Which makes more sense.
Yeah, it does. But also, Spock is trying to like play a role in these scenes. He's not like
Right.
So, for the fans to immediately like, well, Spock wouldn't act like that. It's like, well, no kidding. He's a spy in this episode.
Well, I think the hard line is, and I'm on both sides of the fence here. I think
at the end
hard
when he's
line
like,
is,
I actually really did want to like
right,
touch your hand more.
because Spock because they write this line and they really honestly are not like being funny about it. They're not trying to be like you're saying, he's not trying to be deceptive. Spock,
Yeah.
when he says Vulcans cannot lie, so it's more than just like a choice. It's more like Vulcans just have the inability to be deceptive or lie or whatever.
Mhm.
And it makes you believe that for every decision he makes, it cannot be fake, essentially. So I kind of get it. If that's like the thinking you're supposed to have, then therefore all of Spock's interactions with this commander are more real than fans may want to have, especially back then.
That's true.
Because now when you watch Strange New Worlds, like he's all over Chapel. So
Yeah, right. Well, it's easy to say too, like, he's giving into his
oh yeah.
human side a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I'm not like it didn't upset me. I can understand. It's like I'm on the fence. I understand why stuff had to happen from a writer's perspective to make it like interesting and sultry, and I get it from a fan's perspective of like, why are you making Spock do this?
Yeah, especially when you were saying earlier they would have been just as easy or easier to have like Kirk be in Spock's role and Spock be the Romulan infiltrator.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it would make more sense for their characters.
yeah,
But it's season 3, Spock's the favorite, so you got to give him something to do.
yeah. Although long thought otherwise, from the very first draft, the script had the Romulans using Klingon ships. The series had a lot of money invested in the Klingon model and needed to get its money's worth.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
This episode was originally aired before another episode called Elon of Troyes. So when the audience first saw the Klingon ships, they were being used by Romulans.
It's weird.
Yeah.
In this episode, you really notice the actual like bird of prey painted on the bottom of the Klingon ship.
Yeah. Yeah. The Howard Anderson Company, responsible for the visual effects photography involving the D-class starships, offered the producers a choice if they should prioritize this episode or the other one, Elon of Troyes. The Enterprise incident was chosen because its ties to the Pueblo incident made the episode more timely, and they made the other one wait until December to broadcast. And then the photographic effects using special mats were produced of the D7 class studio model that, when combined, gave the appearance that 3 warships had surrounded the Enterprise.
Oh.
So it was just one. It was just one ship.
Hmm.
As you said, the Romulans used Klingon disruptors.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it says, unlike in Black Balance of Terror, the Romulans depicted here don't wear black gloves.
Oh, yeah.
This is the second and final appearance of Romulan characters in Star Trek, the original series.
Wow.
And then an interesting thing it talks about, the Romulans have improved their cloaking system since Balance of Terror and the Deadly Years. In the former, Spock refers to it as an invisibility screen that can mask a bird of prey's appearance, but not its motion. In the Enterprise incident, the cloaking device now renders a ship undetectable while moving, and not even the Romulans themselves can track a vessel so equipped, which I thought was strange. I thought it was really strange that the Romulans also couldn't track it, but
Yeah.
that's just my
Well,
feeling.
because he has the computer like set a course where it was predicting where the Enterprise would have evaded to,
Mm,
and they
yeah.
didn't. That's interesting. Well, at least that kind of makes more sense that it's like an updated version
Yeah, which it
of
did,
this
and I
device.
and I
Yeah.
forgot that's it makes sense, and I didn't realize that, so I can appreciate that now.
Yeah.
This episode depicts transportation of intruders or prisoners between opposing ships as a simple matter done at will. Later incarnations of Star Trek established that shields prevent the use of a transporter, and both opposing parties must lower them if any transports are to be made.
Mhm.
This is the first mention of any relationship between the Klingons and the Romulan empires. The idea that the Klingons and Romulans have formed an alliance of some sort has been developed extensively in the expanded universe. However, in the episode, Spock only confirms intelligence reports about Romulan use of Klingon ships and falls short of explicitly mentioning any reason. So I just got two more little parts here. The writer DC Fontana remarks, overall, it was not a bad episode, but I did have a lot of complaints about it and things that weren't approached or handled right. Let's face it, the romantic scene between the Romulan commander and Spock was totally out of context. Any Romulan worth her salt would have instantly suspected Spock because they are related races. That was wrong. Kirk's attitudes were wrong. A simple thing, the cloaking device was supposed to be a very small thing, about the size of a watch, for instance, and it could be easily hidden. Here's Kirk running around with this thing that looks like a lamp. Highly visible. This is stupidity as well as illogical thinking. Visually, it was stupid. Conceptually, it was very bad. There were a lot of things, little things, that were changed. But my biggest objection is the scene between Spock and the woman, because I really did not believe it. And I did not believe that the Romulan did not suspect Spock of something underhanded. She does know enough about Vulcan and Vulcans to know that something's afoot.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. I thought the same thing, but
Yeah.
it's I mean, honestly, it's the first time you see a female Romulan, and we don't know much about Romulans, so it's like, it's okay. You let a lot of stuff slide.
Right. Yeah.
But like going forward, like looking at this, like when we get into more Romulan stuff and you look back at this episode, you're gonna be like, yeah, this is stupid. But it's okay.
Yeah.
Right now it's fine, right? Where it stands, it's fine.
Hmm.
So, aside from the standard CGI replacement footage of the Enterprise, this episode most notably featured several new effect shots of the Romulan D7 class battlecruiser. While the remastered scenes remain true to the original, two significant changes in the visual effects. The Romulan bird of prey as the third surrounding vessel, and the additional Romulan bird of prey markings painted on the underside of the ship's hull.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so that was a very heavy trivia, but that's all right.
Funny that
Now-
like Fontana was not like super happy with it, because it's like she
No.
wrote it and then
They changed a whole bunch of stuff.
they changed like all the stuff, and
Yeah, DC Fontana is like, honestly, if like, I don't know, if like Rick Berman of 90s, like 80s, 90s, 2000s Star Trek was like the reason why it made Star Trek good, DC Fontana is like the OG person who made Star Trek good back in the day.
that's funny. Yeah.
Okay, we're back from trivia, and now we can get into the last part. So the first thing I had written was, Uhura is a gentleman?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So kind of funny that the Romulans, whose society is built on espionage, doesn't know anything about Spock, me, on the Enterprise, but Spock knows some of the Romulan legal system.
Yeah, that was weird.
They were like,
Okay, your appearance caught us off guard.
and then it's like, but then Spock's like, yes, but I know the right of statement. She's like, yes, you know Romulan like legality very well. And I was like, how does he know this? If you don't know that the first officer is a Vulcan and what his name is, how do you not, how does Spock know anything about you guys?
It's not like he just transferred over to the Enterprise either,
Right.
They're like, hey, so how long have you been? And he's like, oh, 18 years. Oh, so we should have known about it then. That's interesting.
I wrote, what did Kirk think was going to happen with letting Tal show up on the view screen in front of the Romulan commander? Like, what did he think was going to happen? That she was just going to be like, I can't say anything. Of course she was going to be like, blow it up.
Yeah, I know that was stupid. Also, like, I like that scene where Spock's standing there giving like his speech.
Mm-hmm.
I like his court case basically. He's
Yeah.
going through. He's starting from like 3 days ago because he's got 20 minutes to fill.
Yeah.
But then like she runs over to like grab him before he gets transported, and he just still stands there.
Yeah. Can't
'Cause
move. Can't move and transport.
Yeah, I just thought that was weird,
Yeah.
Like he couldn't
Vulcan
just
death
like
grip.
neck pinch her quick,
Yeah. Well, maybe because he actually did love her.
Maybe.
Maybe.
It was just funny that like when they're like, "All right, Captain, we got Spock. He's aboard, and also the commander." And everyone's like, "Oh, the commander." They were like happy about it. Like, why are
Kind of.
you
Yeah.
happy that the commander's here? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, no, like, what are you going to do with her?
Oh, we have her now. Yay.
Oh, she followed Spock. Isn't that
Idiot.
cute?
But how about that cloaked Enterprise?
That was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool effect. Yeah.
It was.
I liked that they were all so shocked by it too,
Yeah.
All right, torpedo. Oh my god. What? What? How are they doing this?
Oh.
Oh my god, they got it. And that's what he says. He's like, oh, they have it. It's like, well, yeah. Yeah, you knew that.
Yeah.
You knew they had it.
I thought it was interesting that that Spock didn't have to use the turbo lift wall handles to like request
Oh
the
yeah.
deck to the computer. He just was like deck 2, and then
Mhm.
I was like,
Well,
has
it
the Enterprise
listens.
been retuned?
It listens to Spock.
Oh yeah,
Spock tells you deck 2, you go to deck 2, and that's how it works.
yeah.
Computer to computer.
Just does it. Also, it was kind of a long ride to deck 2. It took
Yeah.
quite a while for them to get to deck 2 from the bridge.
Yeah, it's only like 2 floors down.
If even that, because I think deck 1 is the bridge. So, and the last thing I wrote, I don't know if you caught it or remembered it, but there he was, Leslie, the guy we talked about a couple episodes. He was like right at the end in the red
Oh
shirt
yeah.
ad. It was the guy that I said is like always in the background, but you never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. I thought it was funny that like Kirk kind of lost his cool there at the end. Like, you have the
Oh,
commander aboard. Instead of just, acting calm and collected, he keeps messaging, contacting
oh.
Scotty, and he's like, Scotty, we are going to die.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, Captain. It might blow the whole ship up when I throw the switch. He's like, throw the switch. I do like the scene where Scotty's working on it and he takes that little like tube thing out and he's like, I don't know what that does, but that's got to go back there, I'm sure.
Yeah. He's a good actor.
Yeah, I like it. Once again, it's in Scotty's hands,
Always in Scotty's hands. So that brings a conclusion to our review. But before we end the episode, we do the thing everybody's been waiting for.
Caleb.
So, Caleb, who gets the Erica Ortegas Award for being most unlikable?
I don't like the sub commander.
Oh, the tall guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he did. Not only was he annoying, but I think he did a really bad job at his job.
Fair enough. Yeah.
For a couple things that we already talked about, like they beam aboard, they don't take their communicators, they don't even check them for phasers. They pinpoint the 2 signals in the ship, and then they go to the commander's room and not,
Yeah.
the engine room.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of stupid choices, and then in the end, like I just was saying, like he was like so shocked that they could go invisible.
Yeah. He was like, what? He's never done
He was
anything
really,
before.
yeah, he was really bad for a Romulan.
Yeah, I can't disagree.
Didn't like him at all.
So who gets the Elizabeth Cutler Award for being most forgettable?
So that's going to be the 2 Romulans that they beamed aboard.
Yeah. You know what? You're 100% right on that. That's a
Yeah.
great one. Not only did they pull the guns and like, who cares? but also
Mhm.
they just takes Kirk just takes his clothes, and then it's just like they don't
Yeah.
even really comment on those guys hanging
You
out.
never see him again. Scotty sends him to the brig, and then Scotty goes to the brig and he's like, take your clothes off. It's like, what is happening?
Yeah,
And not only does the Enterprise and the audience forget about him, but so does like the actual Romulans.
yeah, they don't care either.
Because now the episode ends and now they're like, well, we're gonna drop you off at the nearest space station or whatever
Yeah,
with the commander. And it's also like, well, you also still have the two guys in the brig. You know, those guys are still here.
don't know what you're talking about.
It's also very funny that Spock thinks that Vulcan ears look bad on humans, but Leonard Nimoy is a human wearing Vulcan ears. So I just thought that was a little
Ooh.
funny inside joke
Yeah,
there.
real world irony. Nice.
Yeah. I get it. I get it because he's a human.
I get it. I understand Star Trek.
I got it. Oh, no, that is funny.
Who gets the Trip Tucker Award for being the MVP?
So I wrestled with this for a little bit
Okay.
because I want to give it to Spock because I genuinely enjoy Spock this episode. And I think he had to tap into his emotions to, you know, mislead the commander.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I got to stick true to myself. I got to give it to Scotty.
Ooh, okay. Nice.
Because here's the thing. Kirk and Spock knew about this mission.
Okay, yeah.
Nobody else did, you know.
Right. Right.
And now at the very end, it's like Kirk comes aboard with this, giant thing, and now it's like, hey, you got 15 minutes to install this thing, or we're all dead.
Yeah.
And now Scotty has to like make sure he gets that thing working. This brand new piece of technology that he's never even seen before.
Yeah.
Doesn't even know if
Right.
it'll blow the engine or if they have enough power to run the stupid thing.
It's like, how do you integrate alien technology into ours, right? Yeah.
There's a couple tubes probably, but and he does it in the nick of time. So classic
You're not wrong.
Scotty. It's got to be
Funny.
Scotty.
Yeah.
Because without Scotty, they would have been blown up.
Nice. Nice. What gets the Shran Award for being the best action sequence?
It's got to be Kirk fighting his way into like the engine room.
Oh, when he kicks the gun out of the disruptor.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty good when he like kicks the disruptor and then he does like a higher kick and kicks the guy in the head. Like
I can't remember. Does he kick the disruptor or does he just smack it out of his hand? I can't remember.
Smacks it. I think he smacks the disruptor and then kicks him like in the head. And like that, but that scene is so funny too because that guy's like, "Put your gun on the ground," and it's like, "Oh," and he throws against the wall. And then the guy's like, and he's like trying to bend down and get it.
Yeah.
Like obviously, idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. Always shoot Kirk and then get this. Yeah, always.
Well, you can just like tell him to move. You don't have to like immediately try to like gain the other.
Walk over there now.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna turn around, bend over, and pick up this gun. I don't want any funny business, eh? No funny business.
I'm gonna close my eyes.
When I turn around, you better still be in the same spot, or you're getting blasted. See, you're getting blasted.
I'm gonna close my eyes, turn around, and put my gun back in my holster. And you better be standing there when I turn back around and open my eyes and take my gun back out of the holster.
You better be out of this room. You're not allowed in this room. Oh, you kicked me in the. Can't believe you've done this.
All right. God. What gets the NX award for some sweet ship stuff?
I really like the Klingon brig. I really like the bars that come across to like seal in the door. I like how that's all open and that's just like the phase field there.
Yeah.
It was really cool. Every time they opened it, the guy would like go on the computer screen and like the door would like slide into the door.
Yeah.
I really liked that. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. What gets the Porthos award for being the cheesiest thing of the episode?
That it's going to be the hand scene.
Yeah. Pretty
it's
inescapable. Yeah.
Pretty bad. It wasn't as bad as Kirk getting saved from the Mubambu bite, but
Okay.
it's a close second.
Yeah. They do linger on it a little too long, don't they?
And then
Yeah.
they cut away, and you're like, oh, thank God. And then they come back to it.
That's true.
You're like, oh my God. And then, the sub commander comes to the door, and she's like,
No, not now.
and what is her quote? I wrote down her quote earlier, but my notes got destroyed. It was, I can't believe I'm enjoying
Oh, alien
alien
touch.
hands more than I thought.
Yeah.
Like, what? You're doing what? I
Yeah.
can't believe I'm enjoying an alien's touch more than I could have possibly imagined.
Oh.
Interesting. Oh, cool. So what's Kirk doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And until we got to that scene, I thought it was gonna be,
Yeah.
Kirk sitting in the brig doing his I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. I was like, what? No, that didn't even come to the list. Yeah.
And finally, what gets the Enterprise Award for being the best scene of the episode?
The Vulcan death grip was my
Ooh.
favorite scene of the episode. Because that's kind of like, not only is that a good, like, oh, sleep.
Yeah.
But like, it's also kind of like the pivotal part of the
Yeah,
episode
like
where
it hinges on that, right?
switches and you see the reveal right after. So
Yeah, totally. I agree.
So what's the commander's plan the whole time is like Kirk takes over the Enterprise and then now she works for the Romulans with like all of the crew still aboard the Enterprise?
I really don't know.
She was gonna send Spock and like a group of Romulans back on board and they were gonna like take control of the ship.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure either.
Exactly. Funny. So like now you assume that like that's what Romulans do. They don't like have really
just,
good like of their own technology.
Yeah,
They
maybe.
steal like they fight Klingons and take their ships, and now they're if they could fight and take the Enterprise, it'd be like a huge
Now
badge
we
of
have
honor.
3 Constitution class, and we paint birds underneath that one too. Beautiful, beautiful.
Get the yellow paint.
Yeah.
I want
Very
a
good.
giant bird on the bottom of this ship. With the
Yeah, so
Vulcan
that
hand.
yeah, all the two things.
The wings are the Vulcan hands, right? It's like so these are the wings, and it's like
Yeah. La 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 la.
oh, that'd be a cool
Yeah.
fan fiction figure to make like an Enterprise with the.
If they took over.
This would be like the What If series.
I like it. Draw it up. Yeah, so that concludes the What Did Caleb Think section. So now it's your turn to go down into the comments and write what you thought of the episode. What's the best scene? What's the cheesiest? Who's the MVP? Let us know down below. Next week, we're going to continue in season 3 of Star Trek. We just begun. Next week's episode will be Day of the Dove. Hey, gang. Just wanted to let you know that I got it wrong. Next week's video will not be Day of the Dove. Next week's video will be the Tholian Web. Look forward to that one next week. And then after that, we'll get into something special. So, Day of the Dove is on the line. It'll just be a few episodes from now. So look for it then. Next week will be the Tholian Web. I don't know if it's just a weird thing on my phone or something. I don't really know. But I saw this interesting thing when I'm on my mobile phone and I have and the YouTube video is not on full screen and you're just looking at it and you can see all of the, you see the title and all the things. If you say specific things, I think the app does a pretty neat effect. So I'm going to try it and then see if I'm right. And I won't know until this is released and I'm watching it like as it's live on the channel. But if you say things like click the like button and click the subscribe button, they like highlight and like rainbow effects go on the actual things on the app.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I went back to one of our old videos and you specifically said don't not like the like button. You literally say click the like button, and like the literal like button gets like highlighted and has like a little like sparkly effect to it.
Wow.
And I
That's
was
kind of
like,
cool.
is that a thing? And then I saw in another video somebody was like, click the subscribe button, and it's like, hey, you're not subscribed. Like, look at this, like type of thing.
Hmm.
So I'm curious.
I am curious now as well.
Yeah. So click the like button and click the subscribe button. Also, click the share button. Let's see if that does it too. I don't know. Yeah, but if you like the video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. Share it with all your friends and family and Trek enthusiasts. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and ring that bell for notifications so you don't miss an episode like this one, Star Trek History, or just a few days ago, our Star Trek RPG, which came out with a new episode entitled Codes and Connections.
Yes.
So
It's a
look for that.
very good episode. Very good
A
episode.
very good episode. So this has been the Retrek review. As always, you can go over to Caleb's channel. Caleb, you tell him anything you want. Right? This camera, this camera, this camera, or this camera. Let us know.
Yeah. So I got
Yeah.
yeah, I put out a couple Star Trek videos recently here. You should go back and watch. I did the Trident scanner and the disruptor, and those are fun. A couple days ago, I put out a video. I made a little Tomb Raider 2 diorama because the Tomb Raider got remastered on Wednesday. It came out. So yeah, that video came out, and then next week you can probably look forward to an update on the game room build.
Ooh.
Might be a small room update, yeah.
Nice.
And that's about it. A couple weeks from now, I think I'm gonna upload a video where I paint a 3D print of Bo-Katan.
Ooh.
I've had that done for a while. I just haven't edited it. So
That's cool.
I throw that up. It's pretty cool. It came out really nice.
I also think, right? I think in just a few days after this releases, there may
Oh, Dragon Ball.
a Dragon Ball episode.
Yeah, on the 19th, Dragon Ball's coming out. We start our Commander Red Saga.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get to meet Corin. You get some
Get to meet him.
sacred water. Mercenary Tao is doing stuff. It's great.
Is it sacred water? Gotta watch it.
Is it? It might just be tap water.
Okay. Thanks for watching, everybody. And computer. And program.
And program.
See you guys.
Program complete.
The Retrek Review is a Daystrom Holodeck podcast produced in association with the Plastic Underground Props. Hosted by Caleb Stoddard and Will Wilbur. Edited by Will Wilbur. Our intro song is by Kaylee Joy Rookledge. Our theme song is by Samo Studios. And our outro song is by Tommy T. Title card art created by Caleb Stoddard. Trophy art created by Adri Wilbur of Love by the Letters. Synopsis and written plot provided by memory-alpha.fandom.com. Star Trek is created by Gene Roddenberry, and all official clips and pictures are owned by Paramount Pictures. You can follow us at the Plastic Underground Props and the Daystrom Holodeck on Instagram and on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Hey, look, my microphone wasn't plugged in.
Oh, it doesn't sound
How does it sound now?
a little crisper.